I want to give a huge shout out and a thank you to my sponsor, P2 Collectibles, located at 204 East McGalley Road in Muncie and on eBay as well. So next time you're here in Muncie, let us know. Come give us a visit. Hey, what is up, y'all? This is Alex from Plus3 TCG, and we are going to be looking at fur hires today. Now that we have Folgo, it is a very exciting time to be a fur hire player. These little fur things are pretty cool, even though beat is... I would argue this is a budget profile, except for beat. Beat is like too expensive for no reason because it's the best card in the deck, one of the best cards in the deck, but it does not warrant a $12 price tag, the one that it has right now. So outside of beats and mayhems, even mayhem is arguably budget in my opinion because it's under $10. The deck is pretty much budget outside of beat. So without further ado, let's just go into the main deck. So deck, I said this is a main deck, or this is a budget profile, so no hand traps, folks. We're making it without hand traps. So 3 beat, pretty self-explanatory here. Like in the last profile I said, you kind of want to open this card every time. Seal's a card you want to open up, but you pretty much just want to open up for hires. You want to open up 3 for hires or 2 for hires, one of them being beat, because beat will get you into the 3rd for hire, which gets you into Folgo, which gets you into another monster. So we're maxing out on seal because it is just a really good extender in unison with Helmer. Just like I said before, this is kind of like the Trinity beat, seal, and Helmer. It is really good to open up. And I'm playing 2 Bravo because this is just a going second extender. It's good going second because you can attack over stuff at. Same thing with Donpa. Donpa doesn't let you attack over stuff, but it does let you destroy face-up cards, which is pretty good to end your turn with. You kind of have to open nuts though. Folgo, Donpa, Raphael, a Mayhem, and a for hire in hand. It sounds pretty nuts, but it's not as hard as you would think because this deck draws a lot of cards. Then we're playing 2 Recon, same thing with Donpa, except I kind of have been thinking about like running 3 Donpas because Recon is the worst one, is the absolute worst one to open up going first because 1, it's really small, 2, its effect does nothing because almost nothing is going to be set turn 1, and 3, it is not an extender at all. So it is, you could arguably just play 1 Recon and 3 Donpa because Donpa is great to end on. Because if you can end with a Donpa and a Mayhem with for hire and grave, you at least have 1 interruption there. And then playing 3 Raphael, pretty self-explanatory here. It's the best boss monster in the deck. All the other boss monsters suck, even Wiz. Wiz is pretty bad because it doesn't extend your plays at all. It's just there for the negate, and you extend your life points, which doesn't really mean much, but hey, at least you can get a lot. You can get 2,000 life points in 1 turn if you have enough monsters on the board with Wiz. It's just there to special summon off of Folgo. If you have a really good hand where you have like, if you can essentially end on Folgo, Raphael, Wiz with 2 for hires in hand, that's not terrible. That's why we're playing it. We're playing 3 Tenki to search for our seals, Rhoda to search the beat, and then Foolish because this is actually really good in unison with seal because pretty much a Tenki, this, and a Rhoda is essentially a Folgo with whatever you want to special summon because Foolish sends whatever you need. Tenki gets you the seal, summon the seal, or summon the beat, then summon the seal, add a monster, then summon that monster with seal. Seal adds a thing that you sent with Foolish, and you have a really good extension play there, and that's why we play these 5 starter cards. And then we're playing all of the best revival spells for this deck. Soul Charge, Monster Reborn, amazing going first. And then 3 Mayhem for hire. In the, I guess the less than budget build, you don't have to play 1 of these. You can play just 2. You also don't have to play any Pot of Desires. I think it's still really good though. But yeah, you play 3 Mayhem for Hire and then 3 Pot of Desires. We don't have a way to search Mayhem for Hire in this main deck, so that's why we play Pot of Desires to search it out. If you don't want to, I guess, play budget, you can just replace one of these for hires with the drones and these Pot of Desires with Engage, because Engage and a for hire is Folgo, 2-card Folgo instead of the usual 3 that you would need. And then for our defensive cards, we are playing Magical Midbreaker Field. So because the problem with this deck is that it dies so hard to pretty much every hand trap. Droll really hurts because you need to be able to add with Raphael. Ogre really kills you because you can't get like your beat off. You can't get any of your you can't get the effects when you special summon. So if you have beat and a for hire and they ogre your beat, yeah, you're going to get the special summon effect, but you're not going to get its effect to add, and that is very detrimental. Same thing with Ash, same thing with Veiler. So Veiler, Ogre, Ash, essentially everything hurts this deck, and that's why we're playing Magical Midbreaker Field. I guess if you could just cut this for Ashes, and then maybe, I guess, yeah, you could play Ashes. I think it's also very relevant. You could also play Impermanence, because Impermanence is one of the only ways to effectively stop Thunder Dragon, so that you can just stop the Super Bolt or the Colossus, and then go off with your plays. But yeah, Magical Midbreaker Field really helps you out, because the only things you're really worried about are them targeting your stuff and them destroying your stuff. And Impermanence, Ogre, Veiler, all that stuff gets stopped with this. You should all know that by now, because Goki plays this. And then 2 Call by the Grave, like I said, same thing with the Magical Midbreaker Field. We really need our plays to go through. And then for the last of the defensive cards, we're playing 1 Strike, 1 Warning, and 1 Judgment for a 40-card main deck. And we're just drawing so many times in this deck, because if you open up really well, you could potentially go into Saryuja and Folgo, which is insane. But we are playing 2 Folgo. You don't ever really go into 3. I guess you can go into 3. It's came up once or twice in the hours of testing I've done with this deck, but 2 is enough usually. When you're summoning the second one, if you can summon the second one, that means you are in a very good position, and you might already have Folgo up. So this is very possible to do. Have 2 Folgos on the field, and turn 1 make a Folgo, and then turn 2 make a Folgo. So if you're making 2, usually in a game-winning position. Underclock Taker to push 4 game. The deck summons some big monsters, big enough to push over stuff. If you can go Underclock Taker and point it at your Raphael, it's usually a really good situation. And spot removal, Cerberus, and 2 Phoenix. The back row is a little more important than getting rid of the monsters, as I can usually run over them as long as I can summon out my Bravo. And like I said, this is a budget version, so you could replace one of the Phoenixes with a Unicorn, Deco Talker, Trisbania, Triple Burst Dragon. This is for decks like Invoked and Sky Strikers. Saryuja, this was the old game plan before Folgo came out. You just went to Saryuja and drew a bunch of cards, but you can still do that, because if you open up a Soul Charge, or if you open up like a Folgo combo and you're still able to push through, like with Soul Charge or Monster Reborn or Mayhem for Hire, Saryuja is usually a really good play to make. And then Topologic Bomber Dragon. You can play Boral Sword or Boral Load. You could just cut like Deco Talker and this for a Boral Sword and a Boral Load. But this can be, both the Topologic monsters can be used very effectively because of Mayhem. And then we are playing the Utopia engine, because this gets over big problems, whereas like if they summon like Awaken the Dragon's target, those are usually pretty hard to get over in the main deck, so that's why we have this. And then we have Abyss Dweller for Grave decks, and then Evil Swarm Exciton Knight, because you can make it and it's pretty effective in this deck. So that is the deck profile. Like I said, this is a budget version, and you can probably replace some of these traps, the Magical Midbreaker Field. Like I said, you can replace this engine right here, 1 Mayhem for Hire, and these 3 for an engage and drones, and like I said, that's a really good extender for the deck. Arguably better than these cards, but it's a budget deck. So we are trying to build as budget as possible. I think the most expensive card, like I said, is Beat, and then I think Saryuja is like just outside of that. I think this is like $11, I think. Pretty sure it's $11, and then everything else is just pretty cheap for the most part. But let me know what you think down in the comments section below, y'all. I'm having a lot of fun with this deck. Let me know if you think this deck is as fun as I do down in the comments section below. And this is Alex from +3 TCG. Signing out, y'all.